All right, guys, so there's a thing happening, and I guess if you're not very mature, you might laugh at this, but it's kind of serious, especially to the elderly and stuff. And there's this parasite it's like a mini pandemic that's happening, and it's causing explosive diarrhea in people, and that can be serious depending on your health conditions and things like that. And disclaimer, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not any of that stuff. So whatever I say here, take that with a grain of salt and do your own research. Get your first-hand information. I'm just going to share what I've learned on the interwebs from my own research. And the thing is that this parasite, from what I've learned so far, is it's on produce. So lettuce, vegetables, things like raspberries that have a lot of little, holes in them and places for the parasite to hide. They're getting in there. And this parasite, I know my niece and nephew are traveling through Europe, and my sister, and they all got it. And you hear stories in the news about people in the States getting it, in Canada. So I mean, should we all stop eating produce? Should we all go on the carnivore diet? I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. And if you want proper nutrition, you still got to eat your vegetables, but you don't want to get the parasite. But here's the thing, I've researched online. Parasites are killed by heat. And what produces a ton of heat? The pressure cooker. So we're going to talk about pressure cooking vegetables today in order to kill parasites. And before I get into all that stuff, let me just talk about another thing I learned, and this is kind of interesting. So the pressure cooker cooks at 120 degrees Celsius and 148 Fahrenheit, right? So at that temperature, parasites and bacteria are eliminated, they're killed. But, okay, with parasites, the parasites and the parasite eggs are both killed with the heat. So that's pretty good. So if you put your vegetables in the pressure cooker, boom, that's great. Even with meats cooked at that high temperature, boom, you're killing all the parasites. Now with bacteria, the pressure cooker will kill the bacteria, but here's the thing. As bacteria consume the food, they create toxins. Those toxins can cause nausea, headaches, vomiting, botulism, all that kind of stuff. So if your food has bacteria on it, throw it in the garbage right away, right? But if you're concerned about this parasite that's causing explosive diarrhea, perhaps a pressure cooker might take a little bit of the stress off your mind, especially if you're taking care of somebody who's elderly and you don't want them to get anything. Maybe you got to eat vegetables. I mean, it's healthy for you, especially as you get older. It's part of a healthy diet. So if you pressure cook your vegetables, you probably, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist or anything. This is just based on what I've found on the internet. There's a pretty good chance you're going to kill all the parasites if you pressure cook your vegetables. So let's pressure cook some vegetables just to show you how all that works. All right, here we go. Here's the good old Instapot pressure cooker. You basically put your food in here and it cooks everything under pressure. It comes in different sizes. This is the 6-quart here. I'm going to link this product down below in the description. This is Instant Pot, and it is absolutely awesome. I've been using this for a few months now, and I absolutely love it. And now that we have this parasite thing going around, I'm even super happier that I have this, because I'm about to kill any parasites that are on these vegetables. Now, when it comes to cooking with the Instant Pot, basically it's cooking under pressure with water. So you want to add water. Here's 1 cup of water, and it heats up this water, it steams, and it's that heat that's generated by the water that cooks everything, right? But here we have some broccoli, and you can see things can hide in there, right? You got all these little nooks and crevices, and same thing with the cauliflower. There's a lot of places for things to hide in there, parasites, and obviously you can't see it with your eyes, they're so small, but we're gonna kill them with heat here. But all these things cook at different times, different amounts of time in the pressure cooker. So in order to make your life easier, I've created this little chart here, and this is the 20 most popular vegetables that people eat, and you can see they all have different times. So you have the vegetable on the left and you have the cook time. So we can see here broccoli takes 1 to 2 minutes, it's relatively quick. Carrots are a little more dense, so they're 2 to 3 minutes, and cauliflower is also 2 to 3 minutes. So we can cook the cauliflower and the carrots together, and then we'll put the broccoli in on a second run. So that's the plan. All right, so if you're gonna be steaming vegetables or eggs or anything else in the Instant Pot, what you need is a little basket like this. This is the Cuisinox basket. I'm gonna link this down below as well. It'll be an Amazon link, an affiliate link. So I mean, It's not going to cost you anything more, but if you pick it up, it does help out this brand new channel, and I would totally appreciate that. In any case, yeah, this is a little steaming basket. You just put it inside the pressure cooker and you can steam your vegetables. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out all of the broccoli. We're going to go with the cauliflower and the carrots. All right, let's separate it. So 2 to 3 minutes for the broccoli, and I mean 2 to 3 minutes for the carrots and the cauliflower. So it looks like all we have left is broccoli. Now, the one thing you got to understand with the pressure cooker is that if it says 2 to 3 minutes, it doesn't actually cook for 2 to 3 minutes. It has to bring up the pressure, and that takes 4 or 5 minutes. Then it cooks at high pressure for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you release the pressure. So 2 to 3 minutes is closer to 8 minutes in actual time. All right, so you got a bunch of different options here. I just put it on pressure cook, and I set it to high. And then in terms of time, okay, so you press up to go up in time, the minus to go down in time, and I like my vegetables slightly crunchier, so I'm gonna go with 2 minutes, and you just leave it alone and it's just gonna do its thing. There we go, and it's set. So you can see this little flame icon means it's heating, and then once the pressure cooking starts, you'll see a little countdown timer, and then when it's done, it'll beep again, and then you'll see a natural release timer, and there's a way to forcefully release it as well, and I'll show you that when the pressure cooking is done. All right, so I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, guys, vegetables are pressure cooking, so I figured I'd take a moment and talk to you about the pressure cooker. We'll make this short and sweet. I don't want to talk too much, but I was on the fence about buying one for the longest time, and I finally picked one up. Absolutely love it. You can do all sorts of things with it, but you got to temper your expectations because it cooks everything. Think of it as like a steam cooker, so everything's going to be wet and a little bit soggy. So if you're making stews, like goulash, you're making a chicken curry, vegetables are at temperature, now it's going to start pressure cooking. Yeah, if you're making those kinds of things, or you're going to make soups, you can make chicken broth, beef broth, vegetable stock, you know, that kind of thing. You can even you can steam vegetables, obviously. You can steam eggs. You can put bread in there. I mean, you got that. If you make a little platform, you can put bread in there and the steam will cook the bread. You can have a steamed bread. But yeah, so it's pretty awesome. And especially now with this little parasite thing happening, I'm so grateful to have a pressure cooker because I can eat vegetables, pressure cook them, kill all the parasites, kill the bacteria, and I don't have to worry about catching anything. Although, you know, obviously I'm not going to be eating salads because I don't think you can pressure cook a salad. Maybe we'll try it on the channel. But yeah, I love it because I can just you can make one pot dinners, lunches, whatever. You put your stuff in there, you hit the buttons, it does its thing, beep, beep, beep. You go eat your dinner, and then, you know, you get back to whatever you were doing. So it's a time saver, which is awesome. And yeah, I really don't know how to end this, but if you want to buy one, affiliate links down below. And I don't want to be pushy about selling things. I mean, that's not why I'm on YouTube. I'm starting this cooking channel because I want to share my passion for cooking. But, you know, as a creator, affiliate links definitely help supplement the income we can make. And this channel is obviously not monetized. So if you want to buy one, please consider using one of my affiliate links. It doesn't cost you anything more, but it gives me a couple cents, and you know, that goes towards paying for groceries and things that we're going to be using to cook on this channel. All right, so now we got to wait a few minutes for this to finish, and then we will steam the broccoli next. All right, so this has been cooking for 3 minutes. Now we're going to do the pressure release. You just turn this little knob, and that usually takes a couple, you know, sometimes a minute, sometimes less, depends on how long things have been cooking. So it's been naturally releasing for 2 minutes, plus this is the rest of the pressure coming out. All right, moment of truth. Let's see what this looks like. All right, so there we go. And you definitely want to use a glove of some sort because everything is super hot as it's pressure cooked. And that looks pretty good, smells pretty good. Feels tender, but it's a little too hot to touch right now. All right, so here's a pro tip for you. We're gonna take the broccoli, we're gonna dump it into the basket here, but before you do that, make sure the handle is out because I've done this before and the handle was underneath the food, and yeah, good luck trying to pull that out while everything is super hot. Okay, so now we're gonna take this and we're going to put it into the pressure cooker. There's already water in there from the previous run, so we don't have to add more. And let's get it going. And for the broccoli, we are going to do 1 minute. Pressure cook, 1 minute. And there we go. All right, there we go. That's done. You could put a cloth over it if you don't want water spraying everywhere. All right, let's check out the broccoli. All right, that looks nice and steamed. Looks pretty good. We got that one piece of cauliflower. Might be a little crunchier than everything else because it wasn't steamed as long as the other cauliflower. But there we go. Let's check this out. Okay, so carrots. Fork goes through. Good. Still, let's give that a try. It's cooked through, but it's not soft. It's got a little crunch to it, which is really good. Now let's try this piece of broccoli. Cauliflower. Perfectly cooked and still juicy. Now I'm going to wait for these to cool down a little bit before I try those. But the fork goes through it pretty easily, so it's safe to say that that's properly cooked. Now earlier I told you that this Instant Pot only steams things at a high temperature to cook them, but you can also saute things. It has a saute function. So we're gonna take the water out of this thing and we're gonna put a little butter and salt in there and we're gonna saute it with a little butter and salt to get these vegetables tasting really good. All right, so we're gonna put that back in the pot, and the pressure cooker has a saute mode, so we're gonna hit that and it's basically gonna heat up. So we're gonna take a little bit of butter, dump that in there. We don't need this anymore. And we're gonna take some salt, half a teaspoon. There we go. And you can see the butter's already starting to melt. So once that's melted, we're gonna take the vegetables and we're gonna toss that in there, and then we're gonna shake it around and stir it, and then we'll have nice buttery, salty vegetables, perfect for serving for dinner. Now, the only thing I don't like about sauteing here with the Instant Pot is that you don't really have any control over the temperature. It is what it is, and that's what it is, and you're stuck with it. So you can also take these vegetables and put them in a frying pan and do it that way as well, which is okay. It's whatever you prefer. I prefer the frying pan, but sometimes you just don't want to do dishes. So your desire to only wash one pot out trumps your desire to saute vegetables in a frying pan. So there we go, butter's melted, it's smelling nice and good. We're gonna add some of the broccoli, not all of it. And we're gonna add some of the cauliflower and the carrots. All right. So now we're gonna turn this off. You hit the cancel button. There we go. We got a nice plate of vegetables you can serve at the dinner table along with some baked chicken or something like that. All right, and I had to at least try to make it look a little bit more attractive. And there we go, a plate of delicious, nicely cooked, buttery, salty vegetables, which are absolutely delicious. I would eat this whole plate right now. But one more thing. Let's say you got kids and they don't particularly like vegetables. Maybe they had a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of cauliflower, but you still got a bunch of leftover vegetables. What do you do with those? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to show you what to do with those next. All right, so dinner's over. You got some leftover vegetables. You could toss these in the fridge. They're not generally the best when they're cold, unless it's like Asian stir-fry vegetables, then they're great cold. But in general, once it's done, it's done. So we can put them back in the Instant Pot. We're going to, you don't have to, but I'm not going to right now. You can put it on saute if this is the day after, and you can put the vegetables in there, and then you can add your broth of choice. I've got beef broth here, but you can add vegetable stock, you can add chicken broth, whatever you want. And we're just gonna put that in there. And then we're gonna use this tool called an immersion blender. So it's a little like blender bit, and it just spins and it chops everything up inside, which is great. So you can turn this into a nice vegetable soup with beef broth. So the only thing to watch out for And of course, you can do this with a blender too. You can put all these different bits in a blender and blend it. You can maybe do it in sections with a magic bullet. But the inversion blender is perfect. It just fits right in here. And we're just gonna blend all these up. Now, when it comes to salt, it depends on your beef broth or your whatever broth you're using. I don't have any salt in my homemade broths, so I'm gonna have to add salt to this. But if your broth does have salt, then you probably don't need to add more. Because I mean, these are leftover vegetables and you did already butter and salt them. Now, the one thing to keep in mind with the immersion blender is it can get messy. The blade is lined up with these holes to get flow, you know, stuff flowing in and out. But if you tilt your immersion blender like this and that hole is exposed, things will fly out of it. So you want to try and keep it submerged as much as you can. Sometimes I'll angle it just a little bit, but not enough to bring that hole above the, I guess the water line or vegetable line. And if there's a chunk, you just sit it on top of the chunk, and there you go. Now there's different things you can do at this point. Right now it's still kind of chunky. If you want, you can use it as like a chunky pasta sauce. It doesn't taste the best, but I mean, at least it's healthy. Another thing you can do with it while it's chunky is you can add maybe feta cheese, ricotta cheese, salt, pepper, and something like that, and go for like a ravioli filling if you want. So that's possible. If you're going for a soup, you can eat it like this as well. But me personally, I like it really smooth, so I'm going to keep going until it's super smooth. All right, there we go. It's nice and smooth and looking good. Now you can add a little bit of cream to this. You could add milk. You could add more butter. I mean, you're the master of your own disaster, so you can do whatever you like here. But yeah, that is that. It's a nice looking soup. And one thing we got to do before we plate it is just give it a little taste. Okay, salt is good. Everything else is good. No complaints. That is actually pretty delicious. All right, so here's another cool thing you can do. And you can take the pot out of the pressure cooker. And once it's cooled off completely, you can get this silicone lid and put it on here and store it in the fridge. So it's cool that you can get a lid that fits the pressure cooker. So this is great. You could make a big soup or a stew or something like that. And of course, obviously, make sure everything cools down to room temperature before you put it in the fridge. You don't want to promote bacteria growth. I mean, after all, you just did a pressure cook thing to kill all the bacteria and parasites in your food, right? So you definitely want to make sure you cool this down before you put it in the fridge. All right, so let's serve this. Let's make a nice, I don't know if you can make a nice presentation with this because we don't have any garnish or anything. This was just an example of what you can do with vegetables in the pressure cooker. And of course, you can use any vegetables you want. You can throw some beets in there. You can throw some bok choy, you know, get some nice leafy greens. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. That looks good. And let's smooth it out. A little shake, shake, tap, tap. All right, you know what? That needs like a little something. Needs a little something. All right, so it looks pretty good, but we're gonna try and make it a little fancier. We got a little bit of whipping cream here, a little heavy cream, and we're gonna go quickly and do a little semicircle. Now this is either gonna turn out good or it's gonna look like a total mess, but hey, this is how you learn, you experiment. All right, not bad. Looks kind of fancy. I gotta work on my technique a little bit, but there we go. All right, time for the glamour shot here. Not bad, right? So you know what these meals are? We got the steamed vegetables with butter and salt, and then we got those steamed vegetables with butter and salt pureed with a little bit of soup stock and turned into a nice soup. And you know what all that is? That's all peace of mind. No parasites. You can eat that without having to worry about this explosive diarrhea thing that's going around right now. So there we go. See, that was my first attempt. Always try your first attempt somewhere safe, and that didn't look so good. But the swirls look a lot better. All right. All right, there you go. Now you know how to get rid of the parasites using a pressure cooker, and it's pretty effective. So hopefully you enjoyed this first video on the channel. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully you learned something. And you know what? I'm just like a regular dude who loves to cook, and I taught myself more or less. And if you want to learn how to cook, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, be part of this journey, and let's have some fun. Let's do some cool cooking. Let's make some cool stuff. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the first video on the channel. So peace out. I will see you guys in the next one.